But yeah, and they continue to do, wow, continue to do expansions. Let's actually do it this way. So this is the after Moonfall. If you want to, I think I did something wrong. Oh, there we go. If you want to add up to 6 players, all of these additional. So that's interesting because I guess that, you know, the base game is going to have core mechanics and land types and everything. So if you want to add any of these additional, then it's going to, you know, make the game more complicated. So it's probably good to play or to become as familiar as possible with the base game. So this is the expansion that added 2 factions, and that's not all the factions. We have more coming up. All right. So here are additional faction boxes. So that was 4 plus 2, so that's 6, and this will be the 7th. The Lords of the Lost Sea. And we'll take a look at the back here. Yeah, and these look like, yeah, these are packaged for retail. Sometimes for Kickstarters, if they don't plan to go to retail, the boxes don't have, you know, barcodes or anything. But it looks like everything here is meant for retail. Oh, let's take a look at the back of the box first. Yeah, so here's our land whales. That's great. So the Lords of the Lost Sea. So a herd of surviving humpback whales in search of the ocean. The journey takes them across the remains of a Pacific Ocean, right through the battle of the other factions. So mostly peaceful. They make their way and move the invaders out into their realm of silence. Wow. So yeah, 9 miniatures, 7 cards, and a rule sheet. Nice. All right. So here, oh no, yeah, well they did a paper dashboard. That's not great. It's a little disappointing. Yeah, they should keep the materials kind of the same. So now you'll definitely need to laminate these or protect it, because that's very fragile. If you need to be referring to this. Let's see. I don't think they gave us additional. I think that is the dashboard. And so here's, yeah, the victory cards for these guys. So yeah, your different objectives that can get you victory points. And the unit cards. Interesting. Yeah, so there's our 6 units. So 5 copies of these. And then here's our tokens. Yeah, these are this feels the same thickness. Oh no, there we go. Thank goodness. Yeah, that might have just been a, yeah, I was mistaking that. So this is just a information. Instead of doing a booklet, they just did a single page. So that's good. Yeah. So they maintained everything. Yeah, of course, because it doesn't have this border. So this is just, instead of doing a pamphlet, they just gave you a sheet of what they're referring to. So you can just stick this in the rule book. But there's our tokens. That's great. Yeah. So everything's the same quality. Yeah, sometimes I've seen that happen. So I'm glad they did they maintained across all. So nothing disappointing. False alarm. Yeah, so there's our dashboard for this faction, and this is just the rules that would be in the book if these were included in the base. So we'll stick those together in the rule book. And here are the miniatures. Not so miniatures. There's our king whale, or what, Lord of the Whales, I think. I like they have 4 legs. So they move across land. Oh, these will be really fun to paint, though. There's you can do a lot of cool textures and barnacles and things. Let's take a quick look. So here's all of our white whales and blue whales. Nice. Yeah, they all have these kind of insect-like legs. That's great. So yeah, I guess, everything was mutated by the fall of the moon. So look at that. A crawling whale looking for the Pacific Ocean. Which way to the ocean? Oh, that's great. And it looks like all of our tokens and everything are going to fit back in here. So that's nice. We can keep everything in the expansion together. So unless you're playing the faction, it's not going to get intermingled or mixed until you need it. Oh, that's great. So those are the whales, our lords of the lost sea. That's really great. And here are our dragons. So whale miniatures, dragon miniatures, combat giraffes, everything. Plus German mech. Alright, so here's the Fireborn expansion, and this looks like it'll be available at retail as well. So that's interesting. They did have a returning pledge level, so if you do have the standee only, I think they did produce a way to give you the miniature version of the game, and maybe if they did some rule improvements and stuff, but they gave you a discount. If you bought the game with the standees, you could get this version at a little bit cheaper. So the mighty dragons have only one goal: annihilation. The Fireborn's priority is not always conquering territories. They are primarily seek to devastate areas that no one can receive any victory points from. Wow. And manage to devastate a home zone. They receive victory points for it. Yeah, so their new mechanic is devastated areas. So yeah, look at all those dragons. So yeah, you probably don't want to play these if you've never played the game before, because someone can just ruin everything going on in the game. So there's our list of everything in here, and then the description of the abilities of this faction, and the victory point cards, as well as other objectives. Nice. Yeah, and our unit cards. Oh, so there's only... Oh, there's more. Are they all two-sided? Was I not flipping them over before? Yeah, because these guys are, yeah, two-sided. So 6 altogether. Nice, and the stats for each and how much health you get, which is 0. So there's their home hex. Did the whales... Oh, the whales didn't have a home hex. Maybe because they're just drifting around, but there was that other weird hex in the Kickstarter box, so maybe that's part of it. But yeah, maybe so. This is the Fireborn devastation tokens. There's something that we're counting too. Interesting. So maybe their effects last a certain amount of time. Here's our dashboard. Oh, these are in a box. Maybe they needed more support than just a tray. So there's the Fireborn, reclaim our place. Wow, so they do, yeah, all types of different dragons. That's great, and they name everything. Yeah, notice that with all of the characters, there's a lot of great naming and everything. Oh, good, no, it's just it's a tray, but it's, whoa, maybe just to protect them. Yeah, nice. Oh yeah, so there is, interesting. Yeah, their bases have a slot in them, so maybe those rotating, the 1 through 4, that's part of the mechanic. So you can keep track. You're tracking something on each of them. So maybe they have to build up their ability to burn something. There's some time based. Yeah, so all of them have that slot in their base. Interesting. So you're putting that card. So this card is being slotted in there to tell you 1, 2, 3, or 4, based on probably a turn-based ability. Yeah, but really nice sculpts. Yeah, and really rigid. Like there's no, this is a much more rigid plastic, so no warping or weird deformities for any of the wings or anything. They look good. And what's this? Oh, this is a devastated looking area or base. Nice, yeah. So that's all of the Fireborn, the big salamander. Yeah, so interesting. So yeah, there's another mechanic then that's added. So not a beginner faction. Nice. Oh, I should probably do what they did and protect them. Wow, so there's all of our Fireborn. And great, yeah, great illustrations on the box. Look at how nice it is. And that's not all. Did you forget about our pandas? So what are we up to? This is 9 now, right? Yeah, I was calling the mechs the sentinels, but they're not. These are the sentinels. Yeah. That's got to be a miniature, right? That artwork is everywhere. Yes. Yes, it is. Look at that. So the Jade Sentinels. So once there was a pact between humans and sentinels, whenever the Oni appeared, the pandas would also return. Even though people feared the sentinels as much as the Oni, the sentinels never broke their vow, and today they no longer protect people but life itself. So the sentinels flash across the board with the help of portals and hunt Oni, and can even cloak themselves. So 6 miniatures, and then the rule sheet, faction sheet. Yeah, which I'm calling the dashboard, I guess. Nice. From the Jade Forest come the sentinels. So this expansion brings this new faction, who win the game immediately if there are no more Oni. There we go. That's a totally different mechanic. So your Oni hunters. Oh, it's a little damaged. But there's our description. And here's their cards. So yeah, they do have points, but I guess they don't worry about victory points. They just worry about killing Oni. There's their units. So yeah, 6 miniatures. Oh, interesting. So here are tokens of each of the characters and gates. Oh, so these are their gates. Yeah, they're teleportation gates. So gate tokens. That's too bad they didn't do a 3D token. Yes. Oh no, but I guess they're standees. Ah, I see. So this may be kind of an example of what we were dealing with in the previous game. They're probably card-based standees. So here's bases for the portals. So yeah, they didn't do miniatures for the portals, but you do have a standee version of them. And our faction card, or dashboard as I'm calling it. So just, yeah, faction effects and defense and the names of all of your units and their abilities. Right. Oh, come on. Look, look at this. The tiger riding panda with a pistol. Come on. Yeah, lots of great odd combinations. And that's a great representation of that illustration. We've seen that in a couple places. Yeah. They're doing a good job of keeping the pose. I guess they mirrored the pose a little bit, but keeping the pose and everything really good. Yeah, they followed the original art. Wow. So each of the pandas. Oh, sentinel pandas, of course. And here's the flat top Guile style hair. Nice. Yeah, there's a little, well, not too bad though. A little bendy there, but not bad at all. So they look very much like monks. Yeah, like panda monks or temple guards. Nice. I like the jade coloring. Yeah, the jade greens. Let's do a quick. So that's all 6 of your Oni hunting pandas. Or sentinels. Jade sentinels. I'm calling them pandas. But nice. So another faction. Another playable faction. Oh, let's get him back in there. There we go. So that's crazy. So that is 9 factions. I mean, they do add different mechanics, so it's not like you have, like, every game you'll want to play with a lot of these advanced mechanics, but you have 9 factions to choose from, which gives you a lot of replay in the game, because once you've learned or get bored with the abilities or the play style of factions, you have these ones that are completely, you know, they're destroying hexes, they're only killing Oni, or they're just kind of wandering across the board, not wanting to be bothered. Wow. And this last one, oh, it's pretty heavy, but it is another expansion. And it's not a faction. It is Rise of the Moon Princess. But this thing weighs a bunch, so let's see what this is. I think this is just one gigantic miniature. All right. Yeah, so Rise of the Moon Princess. So the Moon Princess has risen in cooperative and solo expansion. Oh, a cooperative or solo expansion for Tsukuyumi, Full Moon Down. The Moon Princess controls her own faction of Oni to try and take over the world. In this version of the game, your goal is to work with your friends or on your own to fight back against the never-ending onslaught of Oni brought on by the daughter of Tsukuyumi. Ah, so his horrible daughter. So work with another faction to create an unstoppable strategy to take back the world from the Oni and then fight over it for yourself. Can you work with your enemies to fight off the Moon Princess? Wow, 66 cards, 26 tarot cards. That may be why it's so heavy. There's a lot of cards in here. Plastic feet for standees and one big miniature. Yeah, so this requires legendary Oni to play. So that may be what came in the that expansion. So let's see. Wow, we even get, yeah, so here's our own rules for solo or co-op. So I guess you're playing against, yeah, against this faction. So here's control of all the Oni. Yeah, they're kind of showing you the, oh, this is the kind of the standee. Oh no, these are these. Okay, they give you tokens to put them all in the different zones, home zones, and storing. So there she is. Yeah, so here's another set of rules to play co-op or solo. Wow. Oh yeah, there's our Defiler again. Nice. Yeah, so everything represented that way. Player's choice. Nice. Priority markers. And then a little reference again. So like we saw in the book, there's representation of all the Oni characters and where they can go. Oh, so these are actually, yeah, these I think are the standees. So we may actually have miniatures for all of these, but maybe when this was originally produced, they would just do it as standees. So I think some of the new expansions that they're doing only as standees. So you're going to be mixing a little bit if they didn't produce miniatures. But they have her. Yeah, they have a miniature for her. I'm not sure about the Skybound. Yeah, interesting. But they showed these on the board. Yeah, so here's the, like we saw with the portals, there's the bases for standees. And our tokens. And then, yeah, there are standees for these larger characters, but they did give us, so what was making this so heavy? I guess the cards. Yeah, so they give you probably all new cards for solo mechanics. So there's our miniature. I thought she was going to be gigantic. From the weight of the box, I guess all those cards made me think there was a lot more plastic in there. So that is our Moon Princess. So the daughter of the White Dragon. So here's the tarot cards with the legendary Oni. Ah, so yeah, these are depending on number of players. So make room, conquest, reinforcement. The dragon awakes. So there's our Skybound. Yeah, I wonder if one of the Fireborn can be played as a Skybound. Three Shadows, Dark Observer, Abyssal, Defiler, Merchant, Ronin, and Gambler. Yeah, I think we have these Oni, the legendary Oni. Let's double check. Just a quick look back. Let's travel back in time. Are these the legendary Oni? Yeah, they look like it. Oh yeah, and this might even be this. So this may be our Skybound. There we go. Yeah, so here's our... so these were more original sculpts, but these are the legendary Oni miniatures. That's nice. So they have standees, but the Kickstarter gave us the miniatures. But the defiled defiler is just a hex. He's not a miniature. All right, lots of noise. Yeah, so these tarot cards. Yeah, so here's the information for all of it. So yeah, we do have the legendary Oni. So they're not in a retail box, but they were in as a Kickstarter expansion. So that's interesting. So this is marked for retail. I guess that's why all of these are in there, so they can sell it at retail. You won't have miniatures, but it is playable because everything has at least a standee. You have your legendary Oni spelled out, and then you've got all the cards to play the expansion. Yeah, so I'm curious how different the solo game would be, and like how it reduces the number of hexes and everything. Yeah, so a lot of Oni counterattack last round, counterattacks, action cards. Nice. So here's all the mechanics for playing the Oni, and then here's the tarot size cards for everything else in this expansion. Oh, that's interesting. So it's a little difficult what they had to do, because I have to kind of walk the line if they want to keep expanding. And production of miniatures is very expensive. So standees, because I saw they did like a Dark Eden or something, maybe like a Dark Seed related expansion. And they said that they just included miniatures. I think there's only a German version, or it's a coming later this year expansion. So they only have standees for that because, I think they're going to have to wait until there's a lot more produced to actually, make it worth doing the Kickstarter and creating the miniatures. But yeah, this game was well rated. The original version of this game was well rated on Board Game Geek. We'll take a quick look at the Moon Princess sheet. But the creativity of this setting was just too tempting. And when I saw they did miniatures for every single one of these factions. So here's the Moon Princess and everything. Yeah, how she runs and what phases she does in her attack priority. Yeah, so basically like an AI for her. Yeah, so this is a solo co-op expansion for that. So if you want to try another set of mechanics with the so I guess you're kind of setting everyone out this way and having to beat the whole board. Nice. Yeah, but you are using a lot of components from the base game as well, hexes and the initiative track and everything. All right. Wow. Yeah, so this was just irresistible as far as the creativity with it. And like I said, the creator has produced comics and a role-playing game. Currently, I think only in German, but a role-playing game for the setting. So I can't wait to see what else is produced. It's really crazy. It's a really kind of gonzo, Japan-loving mashup of a lot of interesting fantasy and sci-fi tropes, mech suits and evil space bugs and nomad whales. Yeah, so there's some real inspiration from a lot of kind of ancient Japanese myth, and things are really making this a fun setting, and that's nice. Yeah, they have there is actually a single player version as well where you can play through. Yeah, I don't think I get the core box back up here. That thing is huge. We'll just look at these beautiful expansions. So this has been Tsukuyumi. The core game is Tsukuyumi Full Moon Down, and then the expansion is After the Moonfall. So yeah, this is everything that they produced for the Kickstarter, and there was a little bit of a delay. They were going to fulfill beginning of 2020, but of course, things happened, and this came in a big kind of rush of things that followed shipping after the Chinese New Year. So yeah, the end of March, end of March, maybe early April. Got a big burst of Kickstarter fulfillment that had been backed up by a year. So I'm really glad to see this finally come through. And I guess as a last treat, we can try to take a look at the rest of the mat here. So this is the Playmat that they produced. And it's one of those kind of mouse pad material mats, but it's two-sided. So it's fabric on both sides. And like I was saying, let's pull it this way a little bit. Like I was saying, it has the it has this box art on the front, so you can see the Torii gate. And let me see, I can maybe get it all kind of flipped over here. Wow, look at that! Yeah, so it's really beautiful reproduction of the artwork. And there's hexes on this side, so you can play this side as well. But you know, the game itself doesn't need a mat, but it's nice to cover, because a lot of times we're playing on just like ugly classroom tables or kind of utilitarian looking tables, so it's nice to have something a little thematic and a little quieter. So yeah, this is the player mat that they did. Whoa, sorry about that. Yeah, so that's the artwork that we looked at in the book itself. So yeah, really nice. The quality of everything they produced is really nice. The cards, you know, a little thin, but you can sleeve them. And the miniatures were great. They very faithfully reproduced Felix's artwork. So and this was a nice thing as well. They didn't skimp on this, and you got to see kind of all of the imagination that went into this setting. So I'm very anxious to see more English versions of the projects they're working on. They also, so King Racoon also has a Patreon, so I'll put a link to their Patreon, and I think they do a bilingual Patreon, so English and German. There was a note on there that they're kind of revamping their tiers and everything. So if you're interested in this or want to see more of Felix's work, you can check out their Patreon and see what they're doing, and hopefully they'll do some. It seems like they're sharing the RPG and things. There were notes in that Kickstarter about patrons get a special. They've already had access to maybe digital versions of things, so they get a little bit of a discount if they actually supported the physical book and things. But yeah, this is just a really excellent imaginative setting that was brought to life really well mechanically in the board game, and then the miniatures are a really great reproduction, and you've got a lot of nice color guides for how to paint up things. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing and painting these. There's a lot of really great really great characters in here that were really reproduced well on the miniatures. But yeah, not a bad Kickstarter at all. This is really really impressive, and especially, you know, a single person's, you know, kind of creative vision. And I'm sure there's a lot of people supporting, like, you know, rules and layout and everything. But yeah, I really I love Felix Murdercat's style, and want to see more of what they're going to do with the setting. Like they already showed, there's, you know, laser Vikings and a clown faction coming. So it's crazy, really crazy. Yeah, interesting art, and really fun setting. So yeah, there's King Racoon Games and Tsukuyumi. So I'll put those links in the description for this video, so you can see everything that's going on. And this is still available. They have a web store that ships internationally. I'm not sure if there's any late pledging or anything, but it looks like things are going to be available retail wise. So I'm not sure how shipping is going to affect, you know, the ability to get them from Europe and things. But I think it's a German-based web store. So if you're interested in looking for the game, it is available. It is around. I don't know how fulfillment has gone so far, because we have in Japan we get a little bit of an advantage if things are coming from China. We sometimes get them early if they haven't needed to be assembled in Europe or America. So this may be a little bit early. But yeah, so the game has been around, and I'm sure the first edition is widely available with just the standees. But if you'd like to have a look at the miniatures as well, yeah, this version, they did a really great job. They represented everything well. They didn't do a dragon though. Yeah, I guess because it's not mechanically, the dragon isn't out, but that would be a nice That would be a really nice, not quite miniature to see. But this has been Tsukuyumi, the Full Moon Down second edition of this game with the miniature. So the 2020 version as opposed to the 2018 version. So thanks so much for watching. And yeah, if you have any questions or any comments about anything, if I skipped through anything or something wasn't clear, ask me in the comments. And if you like this video, please give us a like and subscribe if you'd like to be notified of everything that we're doing on this channel. Tomorrow we'll be doing the our weekly, so the weekly live will be kind of updating what's been going on tabletop during the week. And we also have a Patreon, so if you visit patreon.com/upturntable, you can get early access to things as well as support us for doing our lore series and help us kind of make decisions about what we review and the topics that we have on the channel. And we're also on Twitch. So YouTube and Twitch is where all of our live streaming lives. And we do at least the weekly live stream for the live weekly show. And then occasional actual plays, unboxings, and various discussions. There may be some more lore and some possibly Star Wars. I was talking to AC Galaga about doing a watch through of Clone Wars, the Clone Wars animation, because they just released the Bad Batch, so it'd be kind of fun to go through, because they did the seasons, like 4 seasons, and then they did the Lost episodes, and now they're doing they're kind of continuing that universe. So that might be a fun thing to go through and kind of see what what state the lore is in for that Clone Wars setting. But yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll be back again with another unboxing. And yeah, so please give us a like and let us know in the comments if you enjoy these unboxings or they're just too much wrinkled plastic and noise. But yeah, it's fun to bring these to you, so I hope it's useful as far as seeing like what's involved and what the expansions look like and how everything was produced. So, Tsukuyumi by King Racoon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.